If anybody is going through that right now, you're going through this, like you're up and down and you don't feel good all the time and you don't know why you're angry. Ask God, the universe, to show you where to start, to show you how to step into fantastic emotional well-being.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Being Inspired radio show. I am your host, Amanda Johnson, and I am excited for yet again another inspiring conversation. These conversations I am on a roll with, and we are having one after another, inspirational, motivational, high vibing guests on this show, and today is definitely no different. I had the pleasure of connecting with this woman. We've only had one other conversation, but right from the get-go, it's like, boom, bright light. She's living out her mission, her gifts. She's doing what she stands for. She's on the path. And what I love about that is anyone who is brave enough and courageous enough to do that inspires me. And that's why I want to bring these individuals, like my guest today, onto this show and introduce them to each of you, because I believe we cannot have too much inspiration or encouragement to take a step of faith, to move closer to what really lights us up. And sometimes we need to see other people doing it before we trust that we can do it ourselves. So I have no idea where this conversation is going to lead us today, but I do know that there's going to be something in it for you to feel inspired, to take that next step, to choose love over fear. And I trust that you will feel more expansive and more aligned after having heard whatever truth, wisdom, insight flows through us today. So today, I would love to introduce you to my guest, Chelsey Welna. Chelsey is a professional network marketer with LifeVantage and an energetic alignment coach. She guides and empowers people to choose emotional well-being from abundance, which I love. So, Chelsey, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Amanda. I just love your energy. And I knew right away when we connected, I thought, oh, this girl's shining bright. I love what she's about. She inspires me. And thank you so much for having me on your show.
Absolutely. And I got chills. So, that's the thing about this is we are mirrors for each other. And I have never known that to be so true as I do now, especially having all of these conversations that I've had. It is so evident to me how we reflect what we see in one another, right? You reflect that in me, I reflect that in you. We actually by coming together, both of us, right, we lift each other up. I feel uplifted. I can tell your energy is uplifted. And again, I trust and know that is rippling out into the waves of everyone who is listening right now. So that is why I do this, right? And I know that's why, hopefully everyone out there listening, that's why you are listening. So stay tuned for a great conversation that we're about to embark on. Now, I always like to start with a very, very simple foundation. The whole show is the mission of this show for me. The intention of this show for me is to be in spirit, to be inspired. And so I start off with one question for my guests, which is, what do you stand for in this world? And I love that I have now had, 60, 70 plus conversations with different people, and every single person stands for something slightly different. Even if what it is that they truly believe to be true in their lives is very similar, the unique expression of that, their unique experience through that is different. And that is what I love about this show. We get to see the interconnectedness and the unique expression of that similarity, of that oneness throughout these conversations. So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about and you're out there listening, I invite you to just pick 3 other episodes and you'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. So today, Chelsey offered me what she stands for, which is a simple phrase. What flowed through her in that moment when she responded was choosing love over fear. And this is definitely not a new concept that I have explored in my life. And we've even explored it on the show before. And yet we're going to get something new and unique from this conversation, a new perspective. So Chelsey, my question to you to get us started is, why do you stand for choosing love over fear?
Oh man, because it promotes unity. There's unity and diversity because love, because our creator, because source, because the universe, whatever you call it, God is love. And so when we are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, plugged into that source, we're going to operate from love. And love means so many different things. I mean, it doesn't have to mean kissy, I like a boyfriend, husband, wife type love. I'm talking about deep spiritual love, joy, love, patience, laughter, fun, just the deep love of being able to look at somebody else that's completely different from you and see their beauty, see the differences that make them who they are, but we're all still one. And I've had some light bulb moments with that because I didn't grow up that way. I grew up with a lot of fear, and I grew up with a lot of, competition mindset. And when we can just release the judgment and love ourselves, when we start to really love ourselves because we know where we came from and we know who we are, we can see that in other people. And when that happens, man, life gets really, really fun.
Yes, it does. Oh man, it's so crazy. I swear we have had this conversation. We haven't, but it's literally the synchronicity of what you are saying and other things I've shared with others recently is like ding 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 ding, ding, everything's lining up right now for me and my body is feeling it. I love that, Chelsey. And you said something very, I think, significant, which was I didn't grow up that way. I grew up in this competitive, fear-based upbringing. And I truly believe that that which we stand for, that message which we are most passionate about bringing to the world, because again, we all have our own version of truth, that we want to kind of point at and really carry forward or into the world, I believe comes from what story, what experience we had growing up. And it's almost like we want to reclaim and rewrite it. And so we are on a mission to do that in our own lives as we become adults and move onto our spiritual path or whatever you want to call it. So would you agree with that? Can you tell us a little bit more about how your upbringing of being in that more of the fear-based or competitive environment has basically made you who you are today to choose love now over fear?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I grew up in Wyoming, a small town in Wyoming. I had a great grandfather that started a massive church out there. So grew up in the church, Christian foundation and roots, and so grateful for those. Amazing family. However, there was a lot of strife. I grew up in a lot of strife. I grew up in a lot of, without going into too much detail, because I want to be kind to my family, but there was just a lot of, they were unhappy, a lot of fear, a lot of just emotional fear, emotional abuse, not feeling good enough. And I don't even think they realized what was taking place. It's the whole, you don't know what you don't know. But as I was going through life, it was this, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good enough in sports. It was just this average thinking of, this is my life. This is how it's going to be. There was a lot of judgment of other people and other just, other people and their ways of life and their ways of living. And I didn't even realize it until I got older, until I just, I knew something wasn't right. It was about high school, and I thought, something doesn't feel right. This isn't how we were created. This isn't how we were supposed to be. We're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to want to grow and follow our dreams. But I always kind of had this impression of, I wasn't born into money. I'm just an average person. This is going to be my life. I don't know what I want to do with it. But it was when I started following my intuition and really asking God and saying, show me who I'm supposed to be. Show me how I'm supposed to show up and create and love more. And that's when I started learning about myself, and all these layers of the onion got peeled back of, oh my gosh, judgment and shame and guilt and all forgiveness. All these things got brought to my attention that I've gone through, and it's going to be a never ending journey. But it's showed me that, man, we're here to live in joy. We're here to live with an abundant mindset in everything. And in everything we do, and in every moment, we have a choice to ask ourselves, am I responding from a place of love or fear? And for the longest time, I wasn't speaking my truth. I wasn't being authentically me. And that got brought forth to the table too. I had some people call me out on that at a class that I went to that I didn't even want to go to. So it's just it's a journey of becoming. It's a journey of accepting that you are worthy, that you are enough, that you have the thumbprint of God on your life, but it's okay to do you and do it, however you want to do it, that feeds your soul and your spirit and lights you on fire. It doesn't have to look like your parents. It doesn't have to look like your siblings. It doesn't have to look like the people you went to school with, your friends. Be you. Follow what lights your soul on fire. Follow what makes you just sing and just so happy. You feel it. And so that's me. I grew up in a lot of fear, and I'm done. I'm flipping done with that. So I recognize that now.
Man, I am on fire. Like, I am lit up listening to you. And you said a few things that I'll see if I can remember now. Like we have a fingerprint of God on us. And I actually just talked to someone yesterday who's just as on fire about life as you are. And I'm excited to, these are the types of individuals I get to speak with and be with and share space with, and she used the phrase, we are a droplet of the divine. And both of those images are so powerful to me. And this whole idea that it doesn't have to look like anyone else. And I would even go, I mean, you expressed that so beautifully. And I would even go so far as to say, and it doesn't even have to look like the way your mentor, we all gravitate towards certain teachers or mentors or guides. And I think I even on my own journey noticed myself feeling like, well, now I need to be the Marie Forleo of the world, or I need to be the Marianne Williamson, or I still was trying to put myself in a package or a box that looked like that guide or teacher or mentor. And I was still going through the level or the layers of can I still step into who I am? Even if every successful coach out there says to do this, and this, can I still operate from my truth and really, shine my light and do what lights me up every single day? So thank you for that reminder and that invitation to be who you are.
That is so true. You brought up a great point, because I have been there in the past 5 years in my network marketing business. It's been the compare game. It's been, I've got to be like my mentors. I've got to be like the people. And there was always something within me that was like, that didn't feel right. And I knew that. And so within the past 6 months, I'm like, I'm staying true. I'm going to do this in a way that works for me. I'm going to follow my intuition. I'm going to build connections and relationships, and I'm going to stay authentic, because it just, you can feel it. It feels bad. It doesn't feel good.
And I love that, because, and I will share, same as I started out, because my first journey was down the life coach program. And I thought, okay, now all of a sudden, literally I was replicating other life coaches, websites. I mean, I was basically looking and going, oh, that's what my website needs to look like. Oh, that I need to do a challenge. Oh, I need to do and I couldn't understand why things weren't working and lining up for me. And I decided early on, I'm like, or not early on, but I at some point decided, I said, okay, I need to stay true. People say, get out on the Facebook groups, promote your stuff. I thought it just doesn't feel aligned to me. I am not saying it's bad, wrong, or doesn't work. I am saying it does not feel aligned for me. And it is every day trusting that a little bit more. With this podcast, I've had many people say, well, this is what you need to do, or this is how you market it, or you need to do this to get to get more people, whatever it is. It may be about the work I do in the world, or an offering I'm creating. And it's taken a few years for me to get more and more comfortable to say, this is what feels true for me. So I really honor you, Chelsey, because I don't think it's easy. And yet it's so powerful when we can stay true to that.
Yes, yes, yes. And to expand on that even more, having grown up in the church, having a family that was pastors and, amazing, incredible people. But as I've evolved and I've learned and I've grown and I've followed my gut, I'm now really into energy and stones and chakras and meditation and all of that stuff. And I think it's all a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I've come under a lot of scrutiny because of that. I've had some, questioning of what I'm doing. And I'll be honest, I'll never be able to return to my old self, because once you know what you know, you can't go back. And I'm so grateful for it all. I love it all. I don't think God lives in a box. I think it's so much bigger than we even know. And we're using it just a small fraction of our mindset and our capacity, our God-given capacity. And when we can just open our mind and our heart to what is out there and be divinely led, oh my gosh, life just gets beautiful. And again, releasing the judgment. I just have to look at, when I have those people come into my life and question, it's I can react in anger, and I can get, defensive. And I would have, a few years ago, I would have wanted to throat punch some people. But now I honestly can be like, you know what? I love you so much. Thank you for your opinion, but I'm going to keep on keeping on, and we're all in this together. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy, the whole, we're in a society of comparison, there's a lot of fear because people think they have to be like everybody else. And it starts in school. It starts when we're little. It starts how we're raised. It starts in school. And it's branching out from that. And again, thinking bigger. I'm all about living and giving big, but it starts in the little things in your life and doing them consistently day after day, and your emotional well-being, and really going within and saying, how can I show up as my best self? You are enough, but as you're growing, you're going to want to expand. You're going to want to step into an energy that is fun, that brings you joy.
Yes. Tell us more. Oh, so much good stuff. So tell me more about, we talk about I heard you say, being divinely guided, and how things just open up, choosing love over fear, trusting your gut, trusting your intuition. And these are all concepts that some of you out there listening totally get. Like, you're like, yep, got it, girl. I'm right there with you. And there are others who may be like, so what? Like, what does that feel like? What does that look like? And so I'm always curious with my guests, for you in your own words, what does that look like? What does that feel like in your life?
In the beginning, I didn't even really know what it was. It's like a whisper. And for some people, there's people that see things, that see, visions or whatever. For me, it's more of just a clear knowing. But it's just a whisper that gets louder. The first thing is you have to be open. You have to be open to asking and to believing in something bigger than you. Because there's this great big world out there. And I'm going to tell you, if you're going to try to do life on your own, you're not going to get very far. So you've got to believe in a force bigger than you. And I call that God. You might call it whatever else, universe, source, spirit. I say God. But it's believing, it's being open. And then it's really just asking, show me. And then you're going to get nudges. So as you're going to get curiosity, you're going to have things that come into your path that go, well, what's that? Or that make you smile, or that you just are questioning, and follow that curiosity, follow that, that kind of that whisper that's saying, do it, go for it. And I always say, people will say, well, what if it's a bad thing? And I'm like, well, if it's something that's going to hurt you, there's fear, there's real fear where you can get hurt. If it's not going to hurt you, if it's joining an exercise program or, starting a business, those are all things that are going to propel you forward. Yes, they might bring forth some fear, but that's from the ego. That's not from the divine. The divine is saying, do it. It's going to propel you forward. It's going to take you into a vehicle to grow and expand and evolve. So listen to the whispers. They will get louder as you continue to trust and know. Get real still. If your soul just goes, ooh, or something lights up, follow that, trust it. What's your thoughts on that, Amanda? I'm curious what you think.
You are saying so much that I agree with. And actually, one thing you just said, I was thinking is, I've heard once that the divine, or your intuition, or whatever you want to call it, we have many names for it, but it's that what you're talking about will not speak to us in fear or in a negative, right? Like meaning, I don't know if the divine will ever say, don't do that.
Yeah.
The divine will say, go this way, or here's another option, or, so I remember, because I think on my path, and I'd be curious if this is true for you, it can get tricky at times to decipher. Is that the voice of love? or the voice of the divine, or is this my ego, right? Or and because sometimes the ego can get real clever, and the
Mhm.
ego can like look like it like puts on the hood of the divine. It's like, no, I know what's best, but it's completely from the ego, and it can get tricky to decipher. And I think at one point, I don't remember who said this, and I wish I could give credit, but I just know that someone guided me here to say that your intuition, divine, God, source will not speak to you in fear or in negativity. And so if you're hearing a voice that's like, "Ooh, I don't know,"
Yes.
that's not the divine, right? The divine is going to equally, the divine's not going to lead you into something that's dangerous. I don't believe. I truly believe that, not that there aren't things that can happen in our lives, right? But I don't think we're being guided into that. Um,
Mhm.
do you see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I completely agree. There's no fear that comes from God. It's
Yes.
all, it's love. And so if it's something that's going to propel you forward, if it's something that, makes you question, maybe I'd say go for it. Try it. Do
Yeah.
it and ask for a sign. I'm really, really big on signs. Ask for a sign. You will get one. You have to be open to seeing it. And they're all around us every single day. It can be in the form of numbers. It can be in the form of a Bible verse. It can be in the form of people or a message or a song or nature. I mean, there's so many things. It's all around us. I mean, and gratitude. If you just go into gratitude and saying, "Oh, thank you for my life. I don't have to do this. I get to," and really appreciating the beauty that's all around you, that's within you, that's outside. You get into that state, you're going to see signs left and right because you are going to be a vibrational match, and it's fun. The signs are fun.
I at some point think I go a little crazy with it because I see numbers everywhere, and I start to chuckle. There was a time, and even to this day, sometimes my friends will be like, "Oh, Amanda, really with the numbers?" I said, "Well, you know what? If I get to choose what I focus on, which I do, I have a choice what I focus on. I at least want to focus on the thing that brings me delight and joy, even if it quote unquote doesn't mean anything. Like I get that. I don't need to make it mean something, but it's fun. And it's as if the universe or God is giving me a little wink. And I now am at a point where I chuckle every time I see multiple times a day numbers lining up for me. Cause I go, oh, look, oh, there it is again.
I'm the same way. I love numbers, and I saw 1212 before I got on here, and oh my gosh, I smile, I get giddy, and then I'm like, thank you. I always say a quick thank you, and it's
Yes.
just that you're on the right path. Keep going. We're one. We got you, and I love that. It just lights my soul on fire. It's so fun.
Yeah. And I think, people will talk, oh, well, I mean, well, what if it doesn't mean anything or whatever? And oh gosh, I just heard a quote, actually by the same woman yesterday I was chatting with, and I think it's attributed to Albert Einstein. And now I'm paraphrasing. So who knows at this point, whatever comes out of my mouth is inspired by a woman who thinks there's a quote attributed to Albert Einstein about, like, the only thing we really get to choose is to see the universe we get to choose as the universe as a friendly place, right? And I do believe that, like, I can go around all day being like, oh, like I could be looking for all the ways people are out to get me, or how they're trying, how things aren't working out. Or I could choose to see like, oh, those random numbers, I don't know, that just happened. It's totally random. There's nothing behind it. And even as I say that, I'm just kind of like, my whole
Mm,
body shifts. I'm like, I kind of like my shoulders start to fall forward. My whole stature and posture sinks. Like, oh, like that just feels heavy. It doesn't feel fun. It feels like, well, then what's the point? I mean, let's be honest. What's the point then? We're all
yeah.
here looking for meaning. I mean, that's our existential dilemma. And so if I'm going to walk around life and like, well, I guess that just happened. Or, I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. Blah, whereas even if I go, wow, oh, that's interesting. Oh, wouldn't that be fun if that meant something exciting? Or, oh, isn't that a nice surprise? Or whatever, just that simple shift. And I do
Oh,
believe
yeah.
that's choosing love over fear in that moment.
Absolutely. No, why why do we want to just wake up and go to work and die? I mean, just be joyless. Like, what is the point of living? I will tell you this, Amanda. A few years ago, about 6, 7 years ago, I was a very I was an emotional roller coaster. My moods were up and down. I didn't create. I didn't believe in the law of attraction. I went to church and I believed in, having a relationship with the divine and trusting your gut, but I really was looking outside of myself for joy and happiness. And all of my joy was based on circumstances, how people responded to me, if I woke up on the right side of the bed, those kind of things. And it was like God thumped me on the head and was like, you got to create, girlfriend. This is on you. I've given you free will and you have a choice. And I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. My husband, I was passive aggressive, and it was kind of a come to Jesus of, you're either going to change, or you're going to get a divorce. And this isn't going to be a good thing. And you're going to go down the path of unhappiness and feeling like crap. And I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do? And I asked, it was that being open. What do I need? It was being self-aware, recognizing that my emotional well-being was very inconsistent. And I was operating from a lot of fear. How do I change? And the first thing was fear. You got to learn about fear and what it is and why it's affecting you. And what that did, it got me to the root of, why I was frustrated, why I was being passive aggressive, things that had happened early on in my childhood that had made me act this way, and going, ooh, okay. And then coming from that opposite place of love. So, man, it's on my heart to share this, but if anybody is going through that right now, you're going through this, like you're up and down and you don't feel good all the time and you don't know why you're angry, ask God, the universe, to show you where to start, to show you how to step into fantastic emotional well-being. And for me, it was really getting out of my comfort zone and choosing love over fear and choosing joy over fear, even when it was hard. When I would wake up and I was tired, I would start speaking life and saying, I am going to have an amazing day. I am an amazing mom, wife, woman. I am courageous. I am fearless. And speaking life and affirmations just constantly over myself, really going out into the public and making an effort to do little things with greatness, if that makes sense. Like trusting my gut to, do the little things, put my groceries back if I wanted to just throw them on the shelf because I wasn't going to buy them, to put my shopping cart away, to say hi to the clerk, to really just respond in love in everything, to love myself, to grow, to expand, to be led to courses and books and people that would help me grow. So I really encourage you to just ask where you need to start. Be willing to go there, and it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be so worth it. And you have a choice every single day, how you show up, how you respond, how you react, how you love yourself, how you love other people. And once you're self-aware of that, once you start learning to live in gratitude and learning to really be intentional about operating from joy, your life will forever change, because it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And you're going to have moments where you're not perfect, and you're going to have moments, where you don't feel great, and that's totally normal. The good news is you'll know that you don't like to feel that way for very long. So you'll feel all the feelings, you'll deal with it, and then you'll go back to love.
Yes. I'm so glad you said that. And I'm going to focus on that, but I want to quickly say, first of all, I love that, the idea that choosing love over fear does not necessarily feel easy, because let's be honest, we actually really naturally operate out of fear a lot. So I think when we say choose love over fear, it's not like the love will always feel like the best choice in that moment, or it won't feel like the most natural in the moment. Yeah. Even though it is our true nature, it's just been covered up with so much stuff. So it's like, I love that. And, one of those questions that, as someone says, okay, show me, like, where do I start? As you said that, what came up for me is a very powerful question of, what am I afraid of? Because often there is a fear. The fear is lying underneath our anger. It's lying underneath our perfectionism. It's lying underneath our, sometimes even thinking that we are just too good to I don't know, too good for our own liking. Like we're just like all that in a bag of chips. There's usually fear under that too. So if we can start to show, reveal the fear, then we become aware of it, like you said, and then it doesn't have that unconscious power that drives us. And then once we start to reveal the fear, then we can start to choose love, because we go, oh, I see what I'm afraid of. Now I can choose the opposite. But I love that you pointed out that because I think for a long time, and I just had this conversation with a dear friend and client this morning, where I think a lot of us believe that once we start living from this more intuitively guided, divinely guided, love-based existence, that all of a sudden we aren't going to have any problems. And our life is going to be amazing and all that. I mean, and I will be honest, girl, I will be the first one to step up and raise my hand and say, you know what? Most mornings I wake up and I don't feel great. I'll be honest. Most mornings I wake up and I don't feel great. Now, I have learned how to love myself, how to choose compassion for myself, how to perhaps practice an affirmation. Sometimes I don't even do that. I get out of bed and, within 30 minutes, an hour, I feel better and I'm on my way. Great. So I offer that because I think I got a little stuck even recently and over this journey of being like, well, I'm doing all this stuff. Why don't I just bound out of bed in the morning, feeling on top of the world? And, I want to remind all of us that living a life of being divinely guided, of choosing love, won't look the same for everybody. Okay. That's, I think, one point. And two, doesn't mean we are then forever immune from the other side of the coin. I think what it means, because I am a huge believer that it is both and. It is all both and. There is both. The beautiful thing about love is that love can come through all of it. We can love despite the negative, quote unquote, feelings and the positive feelings, right? We can love and feel gratitude despite when I wake up hungover or I wake up feeling full of life and full of energy, right? Like I can still choose love. So can you talk to that a little bit more if you feel compelled to, like, how the fact that we do have both of it and that's okay?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was the same way. I woke up, I was exhausted this morning and I'm like, I got to do this interview today and I'm flipping tired. I don't feel aligned at all right now. I don't want to go to my workout. I want to, oh yeah. Yes. I mean, and then, your kids spill their milk, whatever. And it's never ending. We need the contrast. We need the negative. I don't know if it's even negative emotion. We need the stuff that causes the I'm just going to say negative emotion to propel us forward. Because if everything was love, it would just, there would be no fun. We wouldn't know what we want. So we need that stuff to grow. We need it to evolve. We need to go through it to evolve and grow and change. But we have to recognize it. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, is recognizing when we're in that state, recognizing and saying, okay, I'm not going to do what everybody else does and just, complain and bitch and gossip and moan and, have a pity party and be stuck there. I'm going to choose to raise my vibration. I'm going to choose to do something to feel better. So, whether that's, throwing on some good tunes. I love music. Music raises my energy. Whether it's throwing on an outfit that makes you feel good, bright colors, going and doing a good workout, going and get a massage, meditation, whatever that may be for you, reading a book or watching a podcast or a show that inspires you, that's going to raise your energetic state. It's being aware of when you get into those emotions, into those feelings, and saying, okay, I've got two choices. I can live in this and be, let it steal my joy for 8 hours and, go complain about it to everybody, or I can do something to shift it. And just being consciously aware. If you're aware, that's the first step. Because for me, for so long, I was not aware. I was just, I just let other people steal my joy. And I finally was like, I got a choice. The other day, my husband said something. Love this man. We have a lot of fun together, but he said something passive, he said something sarcastic, and I was just in that mood. I had just woken up, and 3 years ago, I would have been so mad all day. I probably would have been slamming cupboards and just, it would have stolen my joy. But I was like, I am not going to let him steal my joy. I'm not going to let him ruin my day. So I told him, I flat out said, you're not going to steal my joy today. I love you, but you do you, I'll do me. I'm going to go do something that I enjoy, that I love. But just know, it's not going to be easy. It's just that self-awareness. Something else that I love to do Amanda, is I love to go do something for other people. You know, if I'm having a rough time, I like to go write a thank you note to somebody. I like to reach out and tell somebody how awesome they are. I know that when I go give off that positive energy, it always gets reciprocated, and it just makes me feel really good. So whatever it is for you that makes you feel good, work on shifting into that and fueling your mind. I completely 150 million% believe in this. You've got to fuel your mind with positivity. You've got to fuel your mind with things that are going to propel you forward. You know, if you're watching shows that make you anxious or depressed or scared or whatever it may be, stop doing it. If you're having conversations that are not, that cause, you can feel it and you're just, it doesn't feel good, stop it. Fuel your mind, put positive into, surround yourself with positive people. I'm a huge advocate on that. You got to be around people that believe in you before you believe in yourself. You got to be around people that are big thinkers, that are not gossipers and complainers and negative and whiners and, oh my gosh, horrible energy. And we all have those people in our life that, drive us crazy. We all have, situations, family or whatever that, maybe aren't where you are at, but it's setting boundaries, energetic boundaries, that's self-love and knowing. Sorry, I got on a tangent, Amanda.
I love it, girl. Go. We're still on it.
Okay,
I'm following.
But really, surrounding yourself around good energy. Be mindful of that. Surround yourself with good energy. Fuel yourself with positivity and things that that are good for you. That are, again, are you operating from love or fear? Exactly. We have a choice. Just and when you have those moments where you get angry and you get stressed out, recognize it. I don't know who I heard talking about this. Maybe it was Hal Elrod. He said, take 5 minutes and punch a pillow and scream and, get the anger out and then move on. Because if you can't change something, don't dwell on it. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. No, there's so much packed into all that you're saying in terms of our mindset and letting emotions move through us and being so choiceful about what we consume and who we surround ourselves with. And I feel the need to say this only because it is something that I do stand for now, and definitely haven't always, but I feel like it's important now that I personally don't believe we need to shelter ourselves from, quote unquote, negative energy completely. Equally, I do think there is a time and a place. And I also believe there is, again, a consciousness around it. And there is a knowing that is, again, kind of also depending on where we each are in our journeys, right? Like, is it going to behoove me or benefit me or uplift me to spend time with this person or watch this show or listen to this music? And if the answer, again, it comes from love, it always comes down to, is the decision to do that coming from a place of love or fear? If in that moment I can say, actually, I'm loving myself by avoiding this person, setting this boundary, turning off that TV, etc. Okay, great. Like, do that. At some point that answer might come from a place of fear, right? If it's like, oh no, if I'm around that person, I'm just going to get pulled down and I'm not going to be able to, okay, that's a place of fear, right? So we can also acknowledge, and that doesn't mean that, for me, it can change, it can shift. I know in my life it has, like there have been seasons of my life where I have needed to remove certain people from my life or maybe take a step back, set those boundaries. They have since shifted because I'm at a new place, maybe they're at a new place, etc. And so I would invite all of us to say, first of all, we have the choice, right? Yeah, that's what you're saying, Chelsey. I hear you, like, we have a choice. And so be conscious about that, be aware of that, and then choose love over fear and notice, because you'll feel the difference. Love is going to feel lit up, right? Fear is going to feel contracted.
And I completely agree with you on the, holding space for people, understanding that everybody's on their own journey and path. And it's not really about, not being around people that aren't at the same energy level as you. It's just being mindful to protect yourself yourself, for you to continue to shine bright, stand in your power, stand in your light, and not let other people dim your light or your sparkle or bring you down. So, if somebody doesn't agree with you or is judgmental or is angry, it's us standing in our power and knowing who we are and not having to go down to that level. For a long time, I did not do that either. I let so many people, my energy went lower when I was around lower energy, and I was low energy. I attracted that. But, holding space for people and shining so bright, because your light, if you stand in your power and you operate from love energy and you own who you are, you're going to automatically help other people shine too and raise their vibration, raise their energy and step into theirs. I've seen it done. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Amen. Yeah. All right. Woo. That was fun. I like where we went with that. I think there was so much good stuff. Is there anything else around choosing love over fear that you feel really compelled to share before I shift to asking what inspires you?
I would just be really conscious of living every day as much as possible in joy, choosing what lights your soul on fire, living with joy, operating from joy, choosing fun, and just knowing that you're so loved, that you are love, and that you're here for a massive purpose and to shine bright and play big in this world.
Yeah. Beautiful. This whole conversation has lit me up. So we're going to conclude with 3 questions I ask each of my guests. And the first of those questions is, who is a source of inspiration for you and why?
Oh gosh, there's too many. There's so many. I'm going to say Oprah. Ever since I was a child, I resonated with her, and I loved what she's about. I love her energy. I love Joyce Meyer. She's an amazing biblical teacher who has gone through so much and triumphed and just keeps it real. I love that. I love Marianne Williamson. I love Tony Robbins. Gosh, there's so many. I'm kind of a growth junkie, so I could go on and on.
Is there something about these individuals, and I could probably make a guess, but what is it about these individuals that is inspiring to you? Like, why these individuals? What do they stand for? What do they represent?
Well, I love their energy. I love how they choose to show up in the world. I love how they all have a story of overcoming and transformation, and they are staying true and authentic to who they were created to be, and they show up in a powerful way and inspire other people to do the same thing. I love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that question of digging deeper to understand why people inspire us, because it is, to me, such a beautiful reflection of who we are, and seeing our strengths, our gifts, our divine abilities in another. So I think that's really powerful. So at some point you'll listen to this and go, oh, that's who I am.
I love that. That's awesome.
So that's how I hear it anyway. Second question, what place or activity most inspires you right now?
What place or activity? Well, gosh, activity right now is I am all personally activity, what I like to do. I feel right now drawn to doing power meditation, where it's very inspirational, just music that, I don't know, it just lights my soul on fire. So I've been going through and choosing all this inspirational music, and I would love to lead what's called power meditations, where it's kind of a motivational, affirmation type meditation where people really feel empowered and inspired to go out and step into their best self and operate from that energy.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's so interesting, because if I could summarize the energy I feel you have given off this entire conversation, and every time each time now I've spoken with you, is very motivational and very powerful. There's a way you speak and a way you show up that really, I feel that. So that's exciting. All right. Well, let's stay tuned for more of that. Okay. And then I love this question, though it can be tricky to answer. So whatever comes up for you, what is one book that has inspired you on your journey?
Oh, gosh. Oh, there's so many. Oh, man. Well, let's see. I love The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. I don't know my favorite book. Hmm. Can it be something? Well, I guess it can be. It can be whatever I want it to be, right?
That's
I'm going to
right.
call it this: The Abundance Book.
I love it.
The Abundance Book. This was a game changer for me. The Abundance Book is by John Randolph Price, and what this is, it's 40 days of meditation around abundance. And for the longest time, I did not feel operate in abundance. And I was talking to a girlfriend who is kind of a psychic intuitive, and she's like, you need to check out this abundance book and do it consistently and journal around it. And I'll tell you what, that really helped me step into some abundant energy and really kind of go, oh, I'm way more powerful. We are way more powerful than we even know. So yeah, this abundance book is fabulous.
I'm thrilled you chose. I have never heard of it, and I've never heard it. I mean, that's perfect. Awesome. Glad that's the one you felt intuitively guided to share with us. And for anyone listening, check it out, The Abundance Book. Wow. Okay. So, Chelsey, thank you so much for this. Again, very powerful, very motivational, inspiring conversation, and reminding all of us to that we have a choice, first of all, and that we can choose love over fear in every single moment. And it's not always easy, but again, you offered so many insights and inspirations for how to even start, right? And how to do that. So thank you. And for those who might be inspired now to find you, reach out, connect on a deeper level, perhaps, or even just see what you're up to. Maybe find out about these power meditations that you create someday. Where can they find you? Where can they go?
Well, so I have a Facebook group called Live and Give Big, Live and Give Big with Chelsey. You can find me there and shoot me a message, or you can find me on Facebook and shoot me a private message. I am just now starting these meditations, but I can tell you, it's just the better it gets, the better it gets. They're gonna be hot. You're gonna
Yeah,
like it. If you're a person that wants to really get fired up and motivated, this is for you. And on that page is just a lot of positivity. It's a lot of empowerment and really again following the signs, being divinely led. And so if that's you, I'd love for you to join that page, and it's going to get better. I can promise you that.
absolutely. I love it so much. We'll make sure to put links in the show notes so people can click there directly if they want to come out and find you. And again, whether or not you do, I absolutely know that something that was said today has inspired you listening to live in a new way, to try something new, to listen to that intuition a little more closely, and to be inspired to choose love and to be love, which is who we truly are. So
Mm,
anytime we get to be reminded of that, to me is a gift. So Chelsey, thank you for being a gift today and sharing all of that with us.
thank you so much, Amanda. You're such a rock star.
Thank you. I'm a mirror, and
Whoop,
so
whoop.
are you. I love receiving compliments now because I'm just like, immediately I'm going, well, yes, you are. I'm
Yes,
like,
you
yes, you
are.
are.
Shine on, girl. Shine on.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been such a treat. Thank you to all of you out there listening. You also are rock stars. And that's why you're here listening to us. Every single thing you see or experience or hear, you feel through this conversation is a complete reflection of who you already are. And so if at any moment we said something that got you excited or lit you up, or I mean, it's simply because we reminded you who you are. And so feel that and allow that to penetrate you and allow that to be your source of inspiration. And then go out and be the love and be the light for someone else. And of course, if we said something, I'm going to say, share this, spread this, send it to your friend, to your mother, to your brother, whomever, and like and also subscribe. I'm going to remind you to do that because I am going to be coming out with so many amazing episodes like the one you just listened to, and I want to make sure you know about it. So whatever platform you're on, subscribe, and you'll be notified of the next inspirational conversation that we have. And until then, many, many blessings.